Democrats will try to make it an issue, but it's not stopping the hearings. Now, Mitch McConnell on Sunday on Face the Nation did say that they wouldn't hold votes on the floor until the ethics paperwork was done. So there is at least that. There's not a law that says they have to wait, but it has certainly been the practice in the past not to confirm somebody. But the fact that the review won't have been done before the hearings for some of these candidates is a serious one for Democrats because there are questions they won't be able to ask. There are things they don't know that they may find out through these ethics reviews. So that's one reason Democrats are concerned about this issue.
Tam, are Democrats targeting in particular some of the nominees over others, or how are they looking at this?
Well, that's the challenge that they're facing, is that they have targeted 8 nominees. Well, 8 is a very big number. And so they aren't, it's sort of a scattershot approach. There isn't like one nominee that they are just going to take down, in part because they don't have the votes to truly block anyone unless they get Republican help. And at the moment, it doesn't look like they have it. Now, something could change. A hearing could go poorly. But at the moment, by the numbers, Democrats aren't in a strong position. They don't have much leverage.
Wait, Susan, what is your reporting telling you about who's going to get the most attention from Democrats, or are they just spreading it out equally among all of them?
Well, I think there are some cases where there will be proxy fights, and I think Rex Tillerson is a good example of that. Senate Democrats and even some Republicans don't have a chance to quiz Donald Trump about his policy toward Russia, but they can ask Rex Tillerson about it. And Rex Tillerson himself, as head of ExxonMobil, had a lot of dealings with Russia in general, with Vladimir Putin in particular. So I think that will be a big source of debate there. In some cases, I think they're going to target the person. I think that may be the case with Jeff Sessions, who has the first hearing tomorrow. Now, you'd think they'd go easy on a senator because it's an old boys club. But in this case, I think some of the Democratic senators have real concerns about things he said in the past, especially dealing with race relations, with voting rights, and on immigration. So in that case, it may take a little more personal turn.
You know, Tam, Susan just mentioned what Mitch McConnell, the Senate Majority Leader, said over the weekend. I'm trying to understand, is this really different from what happened 8 years ago when President Obama's nominees were coming through? Because he made it sound as if, oh, this is just the same thing, same way we've always done it here.
Well, they have typically tried to defer to presidents, and they have typically tried to have a big group ready to go when the president takes the oath of office. However, Donald Trump's nominees, some of them, at least 4 of them, have not finished, who have hearings scheduled, have not finished the ethics process. Right. And that is out of the ordinary. As we heard in an earlier segment, the only precedent that Republicans are pointing to goes back to when George W. Bush was first coming into office, and they have one example. So it is a best practice to have the ethics review done, and it is also a practice that has largely happened in the past.
Susan, I want to turn to something that happened last night, the Golden Globes Awards. We reported on it earlier. Meryl Streep getting an award, uses her time to take on Donald Trump, and she pinned it on what she described as his mocking a reporter, a news reporter with disabilities. And we saw Mr. Trump come back and tweet about her today, calling her overrated and saying he didn't mock her. Is this something that it's smart for him to engage in? I mean, how do you see this?
Well, it's untraditional for a president to take on Meryl Streep when she criticizes him at the Golden Globes, or Arnold Schwarzenegger when he doesn't get ratings as big as he did for the reality show that he took over. And I think, you know, most political pundits will say, but this is a big mistake. It's not presidential. On the other hand, it's pretty authentic. It's a kind of attitude and the kind of swagger that got Donald Trump where he is today. So I guess we'll have to see if voters are comfortable with this approach, because I think we're going to be seeing tweets like this for the next 4 years.